Hi, everybody. Welcome to TV Guide Live. I'm Alex Zalbin. I know my own name. It's fine. I'm managing editor for TVGuide.com, and I'm here with two of our amazing editors, Liz Raftery and Joyce Ang. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. I had a big salad for lunch, so I'm feeling pretty good. A little sleepy, maybe. How about you? What did you have
We had
for lunch?
guac.
Yeah, we had guac and chips.
Oh, so we're doing great.
Yeah.
So we are in perfect moods and perfect bellies for discussing the best TV of 2016 so far. For those of you who didn't check it out, we put this up on the site TVGuide.com. I really can't pronounce things today. Earlier today, it's 4 lists. The best TV shows of 2016 so far, the most important characters of 2016 so far, the most important TV moments of 2016 so far, and the best cliffhangers of 2016 so far. The whole team worked on them. You can check them out right now. What we want to hear from you guys, we want you to write in, either on Facebook in the comments or on Twitter, #TVGLive. Let us know what you love about the choices, what you hate about them, what we missed. All of that, we're going to talk about that throughout the show, as well as any questions you guys have about TV, the lists, absolutely anything. Happy to talk about it. Love to talk about it. But I do have to give you a spoiler warning, because we're not just talking about the TV shows, everything for TV, but we're also talking about cliffhangers. If you don't know, that's the end of a TV show. It's going to be spoilers. We're going to get into spoilers. But I want to kick it off with the best moments and the best characters. I thought these were 2 really good lists. They were focused more on moments that were important and characters that were important that made some sort of difference on the wider world rather than just the show itself. And I don't think there's any moment or character that really exemplifies that better than Poussey. Liz, you're a big fan of Orange is the New Black. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, again, spoiler warning. I thought this season of Orange is the New Black was great, and the character of Poussey fell into top moments and top characters of 2016 because her death in the penultimate episode is just, on the one hand, it's a really good plot point. It's, from a dramatic perspective, it's completely game-changing and kind of leads to this big cliffhanger in the finale, and will totally change the dynamic of the show going forward, but also in a larger sense speaks to all this stuff that's going on in the real world, which we've seen, this week, especially.
This morning.
Yeah. The tying into the Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality, and it's kind of more relevant than ever in a not so great way.
Joyce, this might be a very lofty topic of discussion.
Oh,
But
no.
what do you? Well, I'm curious to see what you think. I mean, this is obviously a very serious subject. People have been incensed and upset about this, not just for the past 2 days while things have been happening, but weeks. What role does television in a show like Orange is the New Black play in this?
I think it's a huge deal and very important because so many people, they might not watch news. It might be too difficult for them to watch, and I totally understand that. But watching a TV show, I think some people need that type of vessel to, just internalize things and just in strictly TV sense, in the past year with like so many that's not meaning anything with, Glenn coming back and Jon Snow coming back, like, this one's going to stick. Like, her death matters, no pun intended. But, I think it just drives a point home, and I think it opens up a larger discussion, not just in the real world sense, but just, how TV can address these lofty topics, like you said, and do it well. It was a very well-written episode, and it was directed really well, too, by Matthew Weiner of Mad Men. So.
Oh, there we go. That's a good fact. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, or not even really at all, but 100% real world, our number 2 choice for moment was Samantha Bee's gun rant or gun polemic on Full Frontal. This happened the day after the Orlando shootings, I believe, and she just went on TV and ripped everybody to shreds. Talking about this on the opposite end of the spectrum versus people processing things through fiction, how important is comedy at the same time? Liz, what do you think?
I think, it's always, there's always a debate, like how soon is too soon, or what is it appropriate to laugh at or something. But I think in this, Samantha did a really good job of making it kind of very darkly humorous, obviously, but also kind of driving home a point. And I think that she's kind of having a breakout year in general with the election and, this gun rant and everything. So she's yeah, kind of carving out her own space in late night, and I think she's doing a really good job.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think what made her response to this stand out from the other late night responses is like she was angry. Like you could sense it through your computer screen, you know? And it was very reminiscent of Jon Stewart's rants too. And it just kind of made me sad that she wasn't chosen to succeed him for The Daily Show.
But she's getting to do her own thing,
I know.
and Full Frontal has become must-watch TV. Also, probably, I'd argue, one of the biggest water cooler shows of the year, one of the most watched shows of the year, was People versus OJ. People v.
Liz's favorite.
OJ Simpson, American Crime Story,
Yeah.
now on FX. Watch it. But again,
Or as we call it, Juice.
Right.
Juice, the
Juice.
juice. Okay, I like that better. Marcia Clark, Sarah Paulson's character, was our number 2 character on Most Important, and there was one moment with her that was particularly important. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, in episode 6 called Marsha, 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 it's basically when Marcia Clark gets her new hairstyle and she kind of struts into the courtroom really confidently, and then, as had been the case throughout the trial, her mostly male peers and other people in the courtroom just kind of start snickering at her looks, and she's getting judged not on her abilities as a lawyer, but in her appearance, as is so often the case for women in the workplace, even 20 years later. And Sarah Paulson's performance in this episode is just,
Emmy worthy.
Yeah.
She's finally going to win.
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
She's not going to win for the two-headed person on American
She'll
Crime
get
Story?
2 nominations, and she needs to win.
Yeah.
3.
That's
One for each
true.
of her
Shared.
heads
It's a co-nomination, just like Tina and Amy will get for SNL.
Exactly. The last one that we're going to talk about in this section, this was our number 3 most important character, was Rebecca Bunch, played by Rachel Bloom on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the CW's breakout hit show. It's a musical. If you guys haven't watched it, it's incredible and hilarious. I think part of the reason that we chose her for this, or I know one part of the reason we chose her, is that she mainstreamed mental illness, or at least mental problems that people are having and how they can deal with them. She is also a character who is caustic and mean and weird, and one of our other choices on the moments list was she does a song called The Villain in My Own Story, where she realizes she thinks she's the hero of romantic comedy, has gone out to follow this guy who she's in love with, but basically she destroys his life. We're going to talk about some other choices later on, but this feels like a sea change on TV to me, where we're allowing women to be real, actual human beings.
I don't watch the show, but I had heard, in the first couple of episodes, I think it's kind of pretty much universally beloved now, but in its treatment of mental illness and her taking medicine and everything, is it handled okay, do you think? Or
I think so. It gets back to that Samantha Bee thing we were talking about. We were balancing comedy and drama and real human beings at the same time, and it does it perfectly. It's a great show.
Yeah, I remember like when it was picked up to series last year, because it was like a dead Showtime pilot at one point, and I just remember all the talk people being very worried about, like, is she gonna be like flippant about this, like what's gonna happen? But I don't watch it either, but I've seen some episodes, and I agree, she's destigmatized mental illness, and I think it's handled very well. Like, it's a fine line to walk and sing, but yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I want to get to your guys' questions or angry statements towards us, so please hit us up in the comments on Facebook or on Twitter, #TVGLive. Here's one that we got from Twitter from, you can probably guess what this is going to be out, from the username Prepon. They want to know how the F is Orange is the New Black, only number 8. And then they did the little ghost emoji screaming face, shock face. So, well, let's talk about that. On our best shows list, Orange is the New Black was number 8. How do you think it ended up that low, relatively that low?
I don't know. I mean, for me, it would be in the top 3. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Oh,
I mean,
so we're
it's
gonna
8
fight.
out of like 500 shows.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, that's the thing, is we talk a lot about peak TV. There were 409 shows last year. Orange is the New Black is the 8th one.
Right.
Just everything, it became a series of degrees when we were eventually choosing that.
I also
top 10
think
list.
our barometer for it is a much higher because it was so great in season 1. It was good in season 2, and season 3, I think everyone agrees, was its weakest.
And
So it rebounded really well.
when we were coming up with these lists, I think the season had been out for maybe a week. So, I think maybe it would be higher if we had had more time to process it or something, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Law of
our
averages.
first choice is going to disagree with you a little bit, but we'll get to that in a second. Keep sending in your comments and questions, guys. Let's move on, talk about best cliffhangers. This was a fun, crazy list to put together. There were some of these that I didn't know anything about, but the number 3 one, you guys don't watch The Flash, right? Oh my God, it was so good. Let me nerd out at you for a second. So one of our writers, Megan Vick, wrote a very good piece for the site. Joyce, you read it, right?
Yeah, it was like it actually intrigued me. Like I kind of wanted to watch last season after I read that because she basically pointed out some of its sophomore season flaws in that it was repeating a lot of the same plot points and not going anywhere and not moving the plot forward at all. But from what you've described of the cliffhanger, it seems like it just blew everything.
Well, the thing that's
completely
funny
open.
is Megan was absolutely right. They repeated the season 1 finale, which had Barry, the Flash, traveling back in time to save his mother. At the end of the first season, he decided, no, I'm a hero. I don't want to change time. Everything needs to stay the same. And then at the end of the second season finale, almost out of nowhere, he said, you know what? Forget that. I'm going to save my mom's life. And who knows, time travel rules are different on every single show, but he saved his mother, which is one of the things that led him to become the Flash, led him to become a CSI in the police department, led every character to meet each other. So basically everything that has happened in the first 2 seasons of the show may not exist anymore. And the crazier thing is, I think you guys know this, but you know, there's a bunch of DC comic shows on the network, on the CW. You've got Arrow, you've got Flash, you got now Supergirl, and you got Legends of Tomorrow. All of them exist in the same universe, so now everything's changed. Has a show ever done anything like that before?
Just blow up their whole. I'm sure it has at some point, but
Maybe
I-
Lost Flash Forward,
Sure.
Yeah.
Flash Sideways or something.
But I don't know any show like to the point where it will disrupt a whole universe because like the CW has already said like they plan on crossing over all of their shows.
Yeah,
next
it's so
season
big,
at
it's
some point.
even going to affect Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. That's the crazy
Yeah,
part.
and Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Mostly Vampire Diaries. Ian Somerhalder has already quit the crossover. Okay, let's talk about our number 2 one. This is getting back to Orange is the New Black. The last scene was arguably as big as the previous scene we've talked about.
Yeah. It ends with Daya holding 2 of the COs at gunpoint and people kind of egging her on to shoot Humphrey in the head, which I think would be a pretty defensible action at this point. But yeah, I'm hoping that season 5 just picks up right after season 4 ends, because we have to actually see how that scene will play out. And what I love about it is that no matter what she decides, it's going to kind of change the game for the show. Like, if she does shoot him, obviously the implications for that are huge. If she decides not to, there's got to be some repercussions for him carrying this gun into the prison and her being able to get a hold of it. And yeah, I think it was great.
Cool.
Has there been any like clues as to what's going to happen? Have they discussed that at all?
No, I don't think so, but I do think in talking to some of the actresses at the premiere, I think that they've just filmed the whole scene. Like, I think it's a Walking Dead scenario where they've filmed the end of the scene just because logistically they had to have everyone there, so it's probably easier to just film it on one day.
The Walking Dead is filming it again.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Well,
you're skipping ahead, Joyce.
Sorry,
Well,
but
no,
that was a
that's
great
fine.
segue.
Let's get to it now. We've talked about this, I think, almost every day this week at this point. But The Walking Dead was our number 1 cliffhanger of the year so far. And I think for obvious reasons, Negan, the new villain played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, lines up 11 major characters, plays a deadly game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo with them. And then at the end of it, bashes in one of their brains, but we don't get to see who. We have no idea who. You guys don't regularly watch the show, but you have theories.
I don't watch it, but even I want to know who he kills.
Yeah, right?
I just want to know just so it's over.
Right.
Like after like all the Glenn BS last year, it's like.
No, I totally agree with you. It feels very different from the Jon Snow thing, though.
Yeah.
In a way, it's almost opposite because Jon Snow died, and then we realized, of course, he's going to come back.
Yeah.
We see him on set. This one, like you were saying, they reportedly filmed 11 different versions of the sequence, which is...
Or like they actually like picked up production. Like they didn't do it at the end of season 6. Like when they started season 7, they did 11 different shots. So like spoilers can't be leaked.
I don't remember which one of you had this theory, but one of you had my favorite theory about who's going to die.
Oh, Negan himself.
Right.
Yeah, that he just reversed. Yeah.
That would be a
I'm
huge
sticking
Too
by
big
it.
of a swing. And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, he slips on a banana peel or something and
Yeah.
then hits himself.
I just want like an Arrested Development crossover with Lucille. So
Mm-hmm.
that's our season 5.
There we go. We
finally.
got to get Joe Bluth coming
Yeah.
in on a segue in there, and then
Yeah.
it'll all happen. All right, cool. There's our cliffhangers. You guys, please keep hitting us up with your choices, what you thought we missed, what you want to know about on Facebook in the comments, or hashtag TVG Live on Twitter. Let's get to another one. This is also from Twitter. This is from Indigo Skylar. Penny Dreadful is at number 7, but for me, the most important scene was when Vanessa Ives died. Sad, crying face. A lot of people using emojis on these. Now, I think, again, I'm probably the only one who watches Penny Dreadful.
Watched.
Watched.
R.I.P..
Yeah.
My heart. You're killing my heart. This was, I'll be honest, this was a hard one to choose. We ended up going with the scene where Lily, who's played by Billie Piper, gives this gut-wrenching, should be Emmy-nominated monologue about why essentially she lost control of her life. She was out hooking, or whatever the Victorian era, being a woman of the night, and she left her kid at home next to the fire. When she came back, the child was cold and dead. And not to get too sci-fi about it, but she's telling this story so that Victor Frankenstein, because it's that kind of show, doesn't take her memories. And it ends with this plea of, please, 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 don't take that child away from me. Even though they died, I don't want to forget her. And it's gut-wrenching. This, without setup out of the way, I do think this gets to the heart of what we were trying to do with the list. It's most important moments. This is something that I think, I will say, as a parent, it really resonated with me, that every time you leave your kids, you're like, that's it, they're done. We're done for the year here. Versus the Vanessa Ives moment, which was bigger for the show, where she died, but I think was more an encapsulation of the show than the thing itself. So there you go. Point is, you guys should watch Penny Dreadful.
I've seen some episodes. Ava Green is phenomenal. Like I saw one last year, I guess, when she was possessed or something. The way she like contorted her body, yeah.
It's incredible. And there's an episode this season, the 4th episode, that's basically a one-act play, and it was phenomenal. When we get to best episodes at the end of the year, I'll have to remember that. All right,
It'll be
keep
number 1.
It'll be number 1, yes. 10 Penny Dreadfuls in a row, that'll be it. All right, keep sending in your questions, guys. Last thing we should talk about is probably our best TV shows of 2016.
Yeah.
So let's start with number 3. We've talked about it a little bit already. Liz, you're a huge fan. People v. O.J. Dawn of Simpson.
Yeah, yes, exactly. O.J. Simpson Beyond. I think, this came out, and then a few months later, that ESPN documentary, O.J. Made in America, came out, and I think a lot of people were saying that the documentary was better than People versus O.J., but I don't know, maybe it's by virtue of, like, which one I saw first, but I thought that they were both great, but I thought People versus O.J., between, like, the performances and just the dramatic adaptation of it, was just, kind of phenomenal. And I thought one thing that it did really well is that obviously everyone going into it knows how it's going to play out and how it's going to end, but it was still, not quite
it was
bingeable.
edge of your seat.
You wanted to, see what happened in the next episode, and it just, like, picked apart the nuances in terms of, like, sexism and racism that I don't think people would normally associate with the trial. So, yeah.
It was the first like Ryan Murphy show I've loved since Popular.
Yeah, me too. I didn't even
Was that
watch
his
Popular,
first show?
but-
Yes.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yeah. It's
All
been
right.
16 years, but
Yeah, I thought it was going to be totally campy, and like
yeah,
when
it
I
was
heard,
not at all.
When I
yeah.
heard he was doing this, I was like, oh god, but no, it was great.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's talk about our number 2 choice, Better Call Saul. The second season of this show was as good, if not better, than the first season. It's so good that I don't want it to hook up with Breaking Bad ever. I mean, at some point,
It's like it feels like it's its own like entity, and it doesn't need that. I know like so many people want like Walt and Jesse to come on. It's like they don't need them on at all.
no.
like,
Would
ever.
you have predicted that when the show first came
No,
out?
I actually did not. When they ordered the prequel and then they ordered like season 2, like before season 1 even premiered, I was like, why are they doing this? Like this could be like really bad. And I know like a bunch of people felt that same way too. But season 1 was great, and this season was even better. I'd argue. And I think like what they did smartly was like they just kind of slowed everything down. And I think, Breaking Bad, like, it was slow, like, the storytelling build-up was slow at a lot of points, but there was also a lot of action on Breaking Bad and funny moments too, but like Better Call Saul is just like I just, like the promo image of him like lounging in the pool on the floaty, like that's basically like the whole like storytelling.
That's
like,
the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hangout show.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hangout show. It's great.
Yeah,
It's
but the
phenomenal.
characterization is so good, and Ray Seahorn, she has a great Emmy tape if she gets nominated.
She does.
Yeah.
This was really her season more
Yeah.
than anything, and I can't wait to see what happens next season. Let's talk about our number one pick before running out of time, though. This one, so when we were coming up with this list, we decided that it was the first 6 months of the year, right? It wasn't the end of the season. It was from January 1st through June 30th. Our number one pick, Unreal, has only broadcast 5 episodes at this point, but it's already, arguably, and we're arguing this, the best show of the year so far. What do you guys like about the show this season?
I love it because it's completely fun to watch. You just get absorbed and you enjoy it on a level that you feel like you're watching just like trashy TV. But it's, it has all these great larger things to say, and the relationship between Constance Zimmer and Shiri Appleby's characters is the best relationship on TV, romantic or non, it's just...
It goes back to like what we were saying before about, Rebecca and even like Marsha Clark on OJ. It's just like women are finally allowed to be or play unlikable characters on TV.
They are
And they're super
so
unlikable.
unlikable. Oh my God. Particularly
It's a
this-
completely toxic relationship.
Yeah, the first season of the show was fantastic, and it was so focused on the show within a show and the show behind the scenes. But this one, like you guys said, is taking on so many things at the same time, and somehow, even though they drove a character to suicide last season, the stuff they've done this season is worse.
It's worse.
Yeah.
But you're still like kind of rooting for them. Like I still want them to run the show.
You want them
and
to
not Chet
succeed.
and-
Yeah.
So
Well, cool. You guys, do you disagree with us? Let us know. You can also let us know if you agree with us. That's fine. We want to know in the comments below on Facebook or on Twitter, #TVGLive. Let's get to some of those comments now. So Jamie on Facebook says, Penny Dreadful is awesome. Cool. I agree. Thanks, Jamie.
You're just going to read only the Penny Dreadful comments.
That's it. Evie, probably not Evie Green, on Facebook picks Bloodline on Netflix.
I did not watch season 2.
I haven't.
so
I watched
can't
part
vouch
of
for that.
season 1. My mom loves it. Every time I talk to her, she asks why I'm not watching Bloodline, and I explain that I have a lot of other things that I need to watch. But yeah, I know a lot of people love that show.
Yeah. A quick comment and then one last question, and thank you guys so much for sending this in. Michael on Facebook says, the last 10 minutes of the season 6 finale of The Walking Dead was the first time my heart was beating out of my chest and my eyes were about to pop out of my head, which is an incredible comment.
Another character's eyes popped out of his head too, probably.
Yeah, that's when there was hit with
Yeah.
the bat.
least
So
yeah.
there you go. So we've solved it. Michael is the one that Negan kills. Michael on
The
Facebook.
unseen 12th person.
And the last thing, this was a question from Adriankin on Facebook. I am craving for Blind Spot Season 2.
Oh, so was
Oh,
Liz.
okay.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
I'm trying to think if I have any blind
I don't know if
spot
this is a
scoop.
best of thing, but this is definitely
Archie
for you.
Punjabi.
Yeah, Archie Punjabi is joining the cast. which
Hopefully
should
not
be
green screened in.
great. Yeah. I know that we just had Audrey Esparza in a couple weeks ago, the week before last, and they were just, the night that she came into the office, they were going to their first cast dinner and table read to find out where they were going to go in season 2. So a lot to look forward to. And
Maybe it'll make our best of 2016 as
the
a whole
second
list.
half.
The second
Yeah.
half.
Yeah. Yeah,
There you
perhaps.
go. We'll probably do the whole year. I don't want to spoil it too much for you guys. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Please hang out because we still have to be here for work for the rest of the day. You guys, though, don't hang out. Please go back to your regular lives. Thank you so much for watching. But we are here every single weekday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So please come back, check it out, ask us questions, let us know what you want to talk about. The world of TV is very complicated. We're going to guide you through it. We'll see you next time.